Hello, today we're going to be making a Victoria sponge. And the ingredients you'll need is some self-raising flour, some caster sugar, some margarine or butter, 4 eggs, a little bit of jam for the middle, a bit of icing sugar for the top, and if the mix is just a little bit too thick, we'll just let it down with a little bit of milk. Okay, to start with, we're just going to weigh out our eggs. It might sound weird, but it really works. So we're just going to get the 4 eggs. Just put them in here. And that comes to 228 grams. So we're going to take these out, off the side for a minute. Just get your self-raising flour and weigh that out to 228 grams. Okay, we're just going to get the caster sugar and weigh that out to the exact same, so 228 grams. And then finally the margarine or butter. I want to assume you know the weight now. Okay, so all I've done is just put the mix that I had before onto this nice attachment for this mixer. So I'm just going to get this down. I'm going to mix this into a nice paste. So now we've got it to a nice paste, like I said. So we're just going to add the eggs one by one while the mixer's on. So. So at this point you really don't want to overmix it, because if you develop the gluten in the flour, which the gluten is the stuff that makes bread elastic, this cake mix will become like a bread dough and you really don't want that. So we're just going to take this up, take this off. So if you're using one of these, you need to go right down to the bottom because it might not mix all in. You can look at that, it's still got some flour, and that's because it's at the bottom. Just mix it in. This mixture is just about right. If it's not at a dropping consistency, like this one is, then you need to add a little bit of milk just to let it down. So now we're just going to get this into our tin. Try and get everything in there. Obviously not everything, because you need to lick the bowl. And smooth it out. If you smooth the cake mix out, it's going to have a nice even cook or bake. That's everything. Now we need to put it into a preheated oven for about 15 to 20 minutes at 180 degrees. So after about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, depends on your oven, just give it a check. I'm just going to give mine a check now. And if you can put a skewer or a toothpick or a cocktail stick or whatever, if you can put it in and it comes out clean like that one is, then it means it's ready. So we're just going to leave that for about 10 minutes just to cool down. Okay, what we want to do now, once it's cooled, you need to get like a glass or something that will help get the tin off. So we're just going to pick it up and put it on top. Just going to ease this down. Just going to put it back on. It's a little bit warm. So now it's out of the tin and we can just let it cool completely before we cut it in half. So now we have to cut the cake in half. Now I have a great little trick for this. So we're just going to get these some cocktail sticks or some toothpicks, and then estimate where halfway down the cake is, and then just put the cocktail stick in. Just do it on all sides or around the cake on all sides. Just like that. And I'm just going to make sure, so I'm just going to put them around here as well. And then, just above these cocktail sticks we've just done, start to cut the cake. There we go. Nice and straight. Take all these out. Put that on there. You don't need one of these that cake stands that rotate. It just makes things easier. Get rid of this. Now what we're going to do is start putting some jam in the middle of the cake. You need about a good 2 tablespoons, 2 or 3 good heat tablespoons. I like jam, so I'm going to put a lot on. Just like that. Just spread it out to the corners. You can do this with a palette knife or a spoon. Spoon's probably easier so you don't get lots of cake messy. Just flip the cake back around, just shove that around the top. Okay, then now we're coming to the last bit of making this cake. All we're going to do is just put some nice icing sugar. Classically it's caster sugar, but I think it looks nicer with icing sugar. Just on the top like that. Just tap it out. There we are, looks nice. If you've got a bit of burnt bits on top, this is where you can cover it up. Okay, there we are. There is my classic Victorian sponge. Join us again next time.